All right, back to the Raptor 250. It's been sitting for a couple weeks. I got a few of the things going on, went to Glamis. I'm gonna put these, basically just freshen up the brakes. So I got some Tusk rotors here and brake pads. And then I've got the hubs and calipers all kind of taken apart. So I'm gonna bolt these up to the hubs. I got those on the workbench over here. All right, back here in my cleaning station, these are the hubs, the front two hubs. I got them kind of cleaned up and freshened up the best I could. So rotors go here. Owner's manual calls for 28 Newton meters with some Loctite. So easy peasy. Got a 6mm Allen head. Just kind of go around starting each one of them. The main thing is that I don't want to let the Loctite dry, but that's really not a problem because Loctite doesn't really dry or doesn't really harden until it's like sealed up. There's no air. So, you know, as long as you're not waiting hours, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm sure you can hear some noise in the background. I've got a lot of wind because I live in West Texas and today's a windy day. Kind of got to make sure that the bolts seat correctly in the rotor. There's kind of a recess, or excuse me, there is a recess, you know, right here, that little edge, so that the bolt head that's kind of tapered, or not really tapered, but it has a space on it so that it falls in there all the way. So anyways, sorry, I don't know the proper terms. Taper, recess, spacer, whatever. Just make sure the bolt goes all the way in the hole. I've really only used Tusk a few times in the past. Tusk was a pretty new brand. It's like Rocky Mountain. It's like their house brand. It's like the products that they make themselves or something like that, or private label. And I only used them a few times in the past on my Raptors years ago. And I've used quite a few products on this Raptor 250 now. And I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it's kind of a value brand, but I tell you what, it's good stuff. I'm really happy with it, so I'm gonna keep on keeping on. All right, so now I'm gonna set my torque wrench to 28 Newton meters. That is something like 30 foot-pounds, 31. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I'm just looking at my torque wrench here. Okay, so now the hard part is holding this still. Probably be easier to do this on the quad. Also make sure your Allen head gets all the way in that bolt because these things strip pretty easily. Yep, like I just did. I didn't strip it, but see, I kind of boogered it up. I don't know if you can see that one right there, but see, it's kind of twisted. I just did that. You know what? I'm gonna torque these somewhere else. Maybe on the, I'm gonna go put it on the spindle or something. All right, so I got one on, and this is pretty simple. Spindle. Hello. Doing it backwards. Rotor's on the inside. I'm just dumb, not paying attention. This is a washer and a castle nut. OEM hardware. I just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And once it's on the spindle, I was able to torque it. So this is what I'm doing now. It's kind of a bugger to get in there, but this is the way I figured it out. That's one. All right, now to torque the castle nuts is 70 Newton meters, and this is a 22 millimeter socket. So after I torque it, I look around to make sure there's a hole where I can get a cotter pin, and I might have to move it just a little bit more, if so. Yep, so there's a hole on that one. And I need to go a little bit more on this one. There we go. Make sure everything spins freely. So these are the old bearings. I did not replace these bearings. Didn't feel like I had to. They seem good. It's a sealed bearing. Yeah. So that's that. Front rotors are on. All right, so here in the back, this is the Tusk rotor. Pretty simple. 4 bolts, Loctite, torque it down. I'm just using blue Loctite. There's like 100 different kinds of Loctite, or thread locker, I should say. This one's 243. To me, it's blue. I'm sure there's some technicality between 243 and 242 or whatever else is out there, I don't know. Brakes are important. Put Loctite on. There's a dog outside barking. Okay, so we'll probably kick its ass. These are just the OEM bolts. I cleaned them up a little bit, got the factory Loctite off. Check out this little guy. It's a 3/8 drive ratchet, but it's tiny. So it's really easy for these quick adjustments like that. And the book calls for 28 Newton meters. Don't strip them out. Okay, that's it. Rotor's on. I'm going to go ahead and put the hub on and the wheel spacer since we're here. It's all factory washer, factory castle nut. These are garbage. I got new lug nuts with my new wheels. Factory spec is 120 Newton meters on the axle castle nut. See if I've got a hole for, yep, for a cotter pin, and I do. I've seen cotter pins bent a few different ways. I've seen some push them sideways. Like this. And then bent either way around the nut. Don't use your pliers as a hammer, kids. I've also seen cotter pins like go through and then one bends out this way, but I don't know. The only important thing is that the nut doesn't come loose. This is an Alba wheel spacer. It comes with its own nuts. The nuts that come on it are for the factory studs to hold the spacer on. I don't love wheel spacers. It's cheap and easy compared to replacing the entire axle. Now that I'm completing this build, this is one thing that I regret. I wish I would have got just an aftermarket extended axle and swing arm. It's kind of a noticeable, in my opinion, it's a noticeable, lack. It really lacks the refinement that everything else has. Alba includes very specific instructions about torquing down the spacers. "65 to 70 foot-pounds. It says do not over tighten. If you over tighten, it might cause this spacer to crack. No warranty if you over torque the nuts. I'll point out that spec is a standard measurement, so it says foot-pounds. All the other torque specs I've been talking about are Newton meters, which is a metric measurement. All right, 65 foot-pounds of torque. deep socket is not quite long enough to clear the studs, so I'm hitting them. Okay. That's this side, or that's brake rotors. So now I'm going to get the brake calipers and bolt them on, and then we'll run the lines. All right, got the rear brake caliper apart. I kind of cleaned it up and freshened it up the best I could. It's still not great, but I'm rolling with it. This is an Alba aftermarket brake block-off plate. Comes with its own bolts. Well, I didn't cut that enough. I really like Alba's hardware. Their all their products include hardware that's pretty darn nice, if you ask me. So the purpose of the parking brake block off is really just all it does is eliminate the factory parking brake, which is kind of unnecessary on a sport quad, and it really cleans up the chassis and the swing arm and just gets stuff off of it. So if you like the parking brake, just leave it on. If you don't like the way it looks or whatever, you eliminate it and you put one of these on. Just about every manufacturer that makes parts for sport quads makes a parking brake block-off plate. They're almost universal. I think like all Yamahas use the exact same size. Lone Star makes them, Alba makes them, Tusk makes them. Yeah. It's hard for me to torque these bolts on the workbench here, so I'm just kind of snugging everything up. No Loctite on those. So here are the Tusk replacement brake pads. This brake pad, or this caliper, I think the first caliper I've ever seen that you have to undo bolts to replace the pads. In my experience, calipers just, when you take the rotor out, the brake pads are loose. So I can't say I love it. I can't say I hate it. I mean, I guess it's a good idea that they are held in there. Oops. I'm just not used to it. Going by the book here, this is 17 Newton meters on these brake pad bolts. They're a 12 millimeter head. Again, I'm probably going to struggle to torque these here on the workbench, so I might just wait to go get it on the quad. Also, I need to make sure I can get the rotor in there. So this spreads apart. like so. And now the brake rotor should get in there. I might have to put a clamp on that to open that up, which is going to be a challenge now. There we go. Okay, I probably just messed up the brake pads to some degree. All right, so now I'm going to go over to the quad. These are the bolts that attach it to the quad. Probably go in this way. And this is the banjo bolt and the original copper washers. My new brake lines come with replacement washers, so I don't think I'm going to use those. So there's this, ready to go over to the quad. Okay. These are 17 Newton meters, which is not much at all. That's it. And these are 24 Newton meters, which is not much more. Didn't call for Loctite. All right, next is, so these banjo bolts from the factory we're not going to reuse these at all. I've been keeping them in their places, but no need. So this is, these are Streamline brand steel braided brake lines, made for this Raptor 250. Got it from, I believe I got these from Alba. Came with some nice new hardware. Looks like stainless steel banjo bolts, replacement copper washers, and of course the brake line itself. Nice high quality piece. Stainless steel braided is popular in motorsports. I just have to figure out which way these bends go. Hard to tell. That looks right. And that looks right. Looks like it could go either way. I'm just gonna guess. No instructions or anything. So one copper washer goes on the head of the bolt. The other copper washer goes between the line and the caliper. And you want to make sure you thread it through the guides. I'm going to start back here for no particular reason. So I'm going to take this bolt, copper washer between the bolt and the line, another copper washer between the line and the caliper. Oh, well, that's frustrating. It's not the same size head. So up here, washer, bolt, line, washer, and then master cylinder. I guess that's the way it goes. 14 millimeter. Thirty-one Newton meters is the factory spec. I assume that's going to work for this aftermarket bolt and line. Oof, that's a lot. Feels like a lot. Not going to be able to get in there. I think that's pretty tight to me. Okay, and then these little tabs got to be bent. Okay, that's that. We're ready to bleed the brakes in the rear. All right, so here we have a front brake caliper. I kind of cleaned it up the best I could. Using the OEM little clip there. Tusk brake pads again. Let's see here. See if I can remember this. This one goes the inside like this. And then this one goes on the outside like that. So this little clip that you saw me put in the first step, that's there to keep tension on the brake pads so that they don't squeak, or so that their squeaking is reduced. I'm sure they'll still squeak every once in a while, but so the rotor goes in there. Aftermarket banjo bolt comes with the brake lines. This is torqued to 17 Newton meters. There it is. And then it's kind of neat. It's a little flathead bolt that covers the bolt for the brake pads. Okay, now it's time to go put this on the car, or on the quad. Okay, so I already did the left side. Here's the right side. You just orient it so that your pads slip over the rotor. And torque to 28 Newton meters, I believe. Kind of tight getting in there, but it can happen. Okay, calipers on, both sides. Now it's time to put the brake lines on, run the brake lines from top to bottom. Sorry for the wind noise. Storm's blowing in, I guess. So this is the Alba front extended braided stainless steel brake lines. It's a kit. It comes with new bolts and has a new T and everything. So I'm just gonna run this from the top where the brake master cylinder is. I'm gonna route it down to the T that's in the middle, and then it splits to go to both sides down there. All right, I think I have those routed the way that they're supposed to be. There's no instructions, but I've found some photos online. And so anyways, the kit from Alba included these brake line clamps. There's only two, so it's just one on each A-arm. And it comes with these little, they're like shims or whatever, because it looks like this is made for a larger tube A-arm. And so it comes with these, you know, nice, it's a nice piece, nice product. And it comes with these like shims or spacers or whatever, so that you can wrap them around the small A-arms, because the top A-arms are smaller than the bottom. And these go on the top, from what I can tell. All right, so there it is. I really don't like the brake line routing. I looked at lots of photos of Alba Raptor 250s online and stuff, and this is what it's dumb. I don't know what else to do. So I'm gonna mess with that a little bit, I think, and see if I can improve that. But I'm gonna kind of move on for now. Before I put brake fluid in and bleed the brakes, I'm going to think about that. I just think it's just ridiculous. The lines are made, you know, for extended arms, but like I don't like the way that one hits the ball joint and then just has this, whatever, I'm just complaining. So all that's really left to do on the brakes is to fill them, the master cylinders, with fluid and bleed them. I'm not going to really do that on video. It's not something that's, you know, out of the ordinary. Put brake fluid in this. I think it's .4. Yeah, it says .4 right there. It says .4. So put some brake fluid in there, and then put some brake fluid in there. When I do that, I got this aluminum cap. I wish Alba made one, but they don't. It's only Tusk. which is fine. It still looks, it's an improvement. It looks better. So I think I can put the body on and the wheels and tires on and get this sucker on the ground. One last task is I don't have the chain on. I need to get a 30 millimeter socket to get the front sprocket off. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the quad on the ground first. I think I can do all that after it's on the ground. I'm gonna confirm torque on all of my castle nuts and stuff. Put the cotter pins in, and then put the body on, put the tires on, get this thing on the ground. It's kind of been in my way for a while, so I'll do that in the next video. Thanks for watching. I will post this brake video, and then I'll do kind of the final get it on the ground video next. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you would like to see more content on this Raptor 250, as well as any of the other things that we got going on our channel. Some cool stuff here. Thanks for watching. Bye.